Hello and welcome back to the Property Doctor podcast. It's been a decent while since we had any sort of regular updates, but my one listener and viewer will be very pleased to know that we've got quite a few already in the can lined up for release for you guys. So we should have some regular content and interesting stories for you so you can listen on your way to work or walking the dogs or whatever. This week, we're talking to one of the favourite guests from season 1 of the podcast, about 3 years and 100 episodes ago, Victoria Miller, the lady of Llandudno herself. You may remember that Victoria runs Orenda Lux Properties, which is a fantastic boutique serviced accommodation provider in North Wales. And she's done quite a lot since we last caught up with her. Today we'll be talking to her about her apart hotel build, the challenges that she's had with that, refinancing it, and then the podcast takes a bit of a funny turn because Victoria actually wanted to grill me on some of the stuff that we've been up to, so it almost turns into sort of like a coaching call. So there's a bit in it for everybody in this. There's stuff about business acquisition, there's stuff about staff, there's stuff about refinance and mindset and all sorts of stuff. So a little bit of something for everybody. So do enjoy. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of the Property Doctor podcast. And today we've got a returning favourite, the lady of Llandudno herself, Llandudno, Victoria Miller from Orenda Lux Properties over in the sunny North Wales in Llandudno. It's been a while. How are you doing, Victoria?
Been a while. How are you, Andrew?
I've got to say, I'm really good.
Oh, good.
Normally I say I'm absolutely average, but I've had a couple of days in the sun because the weather's been nice. We've got a lot going on at the moment in terms of properties, and business and refurbs and all sorts of challenges in business, but we seem to have it all we've got a plan for everything. And people allocated to do stuff, including myself. So it looks to me like we've got a beacon and we're heading towards it across everything that we're doing. Whether or not it ends up being the actual destination that we think it's going to be is, it never is. You never end up where you think you're going.
But at least when you've got a plan, it can help alleviate some of those worries and, stresses, can't it? So.
Well, that's the thing. So, we speak a bit over social media, and I post quite often about the mindset of what we're doing, and people get overwhelmed. And one of the questions I get quite often is, how do you manage with everything that you've got going on? And I think it comes back to figuring out what it is that's bothering you, making it, writing it down, and then creating a plan. And once you've created a plan, the overwhelm starts to disappear because you kind of offload it and systemize it. Whereas if you let yourself sit there and live in that moment, that soup of mental torture where you've got so much going on and you can't see your way out of it, just pick one thing, write it down. What's the problem? What's the solution? How do I get to the solution? And then create the steps.
I think that's key, writing it down, but whilst it's in your head, you may be thinking of all the different solutions to the problem, but they're just in your head, aren't they? And once they're out on paper, I think it makes a big difference.
Yeah, it does. And it's when you've got lots going on in your head, quite often you'll think of something and it's fleeting and it's gone, and then you'll then have to think about it again over and over again over several days. Whereas I used to, when we were much smaller, I used to be able to do that and kind of live with it. But now we've got that many things going on. I write them down and then I take a picture of it, or and then I can look back at the photo in my phone of what I've written down and think, yes. So and it just cuts off that cycle.
So simple, but great advice. Yeah.
Well,
I've woken up at 3 a.m. in the morning in a cold sweat, thinking, have I done this? Have I done that? Oh my God.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But if you write it down and you can just immediately close that thought process down once you've got a memoir, an aide-memoir, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, but it's about you at the minute. How are you? What have you been up to over the last couple of years since you were last on the pod?
Oh, gosh. Well, I want to know all about what you've been up to, but I'll do a little, compared to what you've been doing. It feels like we haven't done an awful lot. However, my other mind would be telling me to not compare, because we all know that, we're all on our own paths, aren't we? And I mean, the main thing we've done is we bought a guest house. We bought the guest house just over a year ago, last April. We converted that into a tiny little apart hotel. It's only 7 suites.
It looks phenomenal, by the way.
Thank you.
Had a look.
Thank you very much. So we converted that into 7, self-check-in suites. And that became operational in October. But because we went over, like everything, we went over budget. Not by a huge amount, but we went over budget. So we kind of drained all our winter resources, because we're in a seaside town. I don't know where you're, whether you experience that seasonality in your apart hotels. But so we kind of we got the last week of October, half term, and then we went into November, which is just
the worst month.
Desperate for occupancy can be we've had it as low as 30% before.
Right.
So we went into November with no reserves, and that's not advisable. So we've managed to drag ourselves through November. Obviously, December's decent with Christmas and New Year, quite popular at New Year. Then January is almost as bad as November, and then we're on the up now. And we had exceptional occupancy from February onwards, but it's been very stressful. And alongside that, we've had a really quite complex refinance to get through, because we purchased that apart hotel with investor funds, and we did the whole refurb and renovation with investor funds. So to get that moved on to a mortgage has been a whole new ball game for me. And I didn't go into it with my eyes closed. I was asking these questions before we even agreed the purchase, because I'd learned from the communities that we're in that a C1 guest house is difficult to get lending on, especially term lending. So I did go with my eyes open, but in the reality of it, it was really, really stressful, and panicking with, investors, having to have conversations with investors and extend loan terms and things like that. But we're there now, and I haven't actually broadcast it yet, but I think we're just over a week into, we're on the new product now. We've refinanced.
Well done.
That was good, but I haven't done a post about it yet. So, because I just needed time to, speak to investors, pay them back, etc.
Well, it'll be a good few weeks before this comes out. So
yeah. Oh, there you go. That'll work okay then.
Yeah.
So, what a relief.
What a nightmare it is, though, isn't it? I mean, it's all well and good using investor funds, but
got to get out.
Yeah, and lenders want to smell the far end of the fart, don't they? When they, where's this money from?
Yeah.
It's a nightmare at times.
Yeah, it's been a complex one. We've gone down all sorts of avenues. We're in Wales, so we've got C6 as an additional planning class here for holiday lets now.
Okay.
But it's discretional, and I think our county in Conway have chosen not to enforce yet. But for lending purposes, we were looking to see whether we could get around it that way, because of course traditional guest houses, you've got part of it that was owner occupied, so we were wondering, could we argue that a little bit if it was C3 and we could convert that to C6, but and then certificate of lawfulness and all of the things. So whereas the focus was getting the refurb done ASAP so we could get trading and get the refinance sorted quickly, the refinance has taken 6 months.
Has it? Right.
Yeah, because of all the complexities. Yeah.
But no, I'm finding refinancing a challenge
at the minute, because we've got This one, this house here. And that I've been trying to get that refinanced for 2 years.
Why? What's the problem?
Well, this is what so this is a lesson for investors that might want to. You know, a lot of my investors are. Well, all my investors are personally guaranteed. Now and again, I get someone that wants first charge, because that's the security that they desire, which is fine. But first charge isn't the be all and end all, especially when you've got lots of equity across your portfolio and you've got other income streams such as profitable businesses and all the rest of it. First charge doesn't work for everybody, and it's not necessarily, with the hassle that comes with having a first charge, it's not necessarily the best solution in terms of security for an investor. However, some people really, really need that to feel comfortable, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And if we've got something going on that's amenable to that, then we quite often say, yeah, fine, the first charge is no problem. So that particular house was bought with investor funds. They took first charge on it. We did the work. It was a probate property, so we put the offer in on that house in probably 2021. Oh, wow. Didn't buy it till 22. Finished it at the end of 22, and we're still trying to get off it. And the problem was that we've had it valued up. We got to mortgage offer, got to day of completion, and my investor said, once you get the mortgage offer, let me know, and I'll then pull the trigger on the property I want to buy using the funds. So he was quite happy to wait until the project was finished and we got the mortgage offer, and he knew that the funds were coming back.
Yeah.
So he said, let me know once I know that the funds are coming, because you get the mortgage offer, because once you get the offer, you're pretty much there. I'll go and buy a house myself. Fine, no problem. So mortgage offer came. He went and pulled the trigger on a bridging loan on a project of his own. Got to the end, nearly completing, and the solicitor for the lender said, you haven't got it's not registered at the land registry. Well, they never are. You always have to expedite the land registry.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, we'll expedite the land registry. No, you can't expedite the land registry, because actually the probate process, when you bought it, there's documents missing, and you should never have been allowed to buy the property in the first place because probate wasn't done properly. So our original solicitor that was involved in that purchase allowed us to complete on a property without all the probate paperwork being done, and committed an investor's funds into it, gave them a charge on a property that we weren't legally allowed to own. We've done all the work on it, got to refinance. My man's gone and bought a house using the funds that is due to come in, and the whole thing had to go back through probate again. So it all went back through probate again. Obviously the sale and everything happened, so we own the house. The title's now registered in our name, but this has taken another 8 months because it had to go through probate again. So I've had to sort out my guy's money from elsewhere, which is the thing that, when people want to trust you with their money, integrity and the way you deal with people and their funds is really important. So it's one of the most challenging things I've ever had to deal with. But the guy got his money back, no problems, this is just what you have to do. And now we're towards the end of the third go at refinancing, because each time they start asking questions about how it was purchased, where did the investor funds come from, even though it was done via a solicitor, but because of the probate thing,
it's put a red flag on it by the sounds of it, hasn't it?
Exactly that, yeah. So finding a lender that'll take a view on it, we're getting to the end of it now again. But yeah, refinances just seem to take forever when investor funds are used, and sometimes they don't. If there's any investor funds, some lenders won't touch you either.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but fortunately, it's happening. We're a few weeks away now from completion on that. So 2 years later, we finally got there. But
And you're still smiling.
well, it's just one of the things. One of the things. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. But how's your guest house doing now then? So
It's good. Yeah, thankfully. It's taken, it's definitely not hands off, as we know. Serviced accommodation is a service business, isn't it? So we're kind of at that stage where we're not big enough to take someone on, but for me to manage is quite challenging,
right.
time consuming. So and that's probably because I'm a bit of a control freak. So it's to work those bookings up, any way possible, all the different companies to be registered with, reaching out to, you get building your direct mail list and reaching out to people directly, which Airbnb's just made incredibly difficult. I got to tell off from the Airbnb. I don't know if you've had.
Did you?
Oh, final warning.
Oh my goodness.
And I'll be banned. I mean, literally. So just as a little side note, literally somebody messaged me on Airbnb with an inquiry and said, are you listed on anywhere else? So I said, yeah, we've got our own website and we're on other platforms as well. That was it. But of course, their AI, that's monitoring those conversations, is picking up keywords there. And I just got it's just as they brought in all those new terms and conditions a few weeks ago, I think it was, I got a very stern email, very stern. So just be cautious of that. Yeah. But yeah, it's taken a lot of work, but we're good occupancy levels throughout the 14 units, because aside from the apart hotel, we've got another 7 flats, apartments. Good. And do you know what? So we've got a mixture. So we've got really expensive, fancy 2-bed seafront apartments. We've got middle of the range, price-wise, 1-bed apartments. And then the Tilston, which is the apart hotel, are more budget friendly. They're still lovely, but because we can operate at scale under one roof, and our costs are lower, and the room sizes are smaller, they're quicker to turn around, etc., etc. We can offer them a more, a lower nightly rate, and they fly out. Whereas the 2-bed luxury apartments on the seafront, they just grind. They just, they're slow, because I guess the economy at the moment, and people are watching what they're spending, and that's more of a luxury product rather than a cheap getaway. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it is. And Llandudno is essentially a leisure town, isn't it?
Yeah, predominant. The most of our bookings, I'd say 95% are tourism leisure guests.
Right.
We've got a great theatre here, so we do have production companies and things like that stay in, but there's very few long-term contractor type bookings to be had. Although because we're at a lower price point, we have been able to take some of that, because I think we're just outpriced. We outpriced them in the other properties, so it's been a good addition to the portfolio, to offer a different price point. But I'm also quite conscious that we're in quite a small area. All of the properties, like a little triangle in the edge of town, and we don't want to be competing with ourselves. So I think expansion in apart hotels or serviced accommodation, I don't think we would do any more in the immediate vicinity, really.
It's with our hotel, we so our stuff is scattered all across the northeast now. we started off in a little place called Redcar.
Yeah.
And we've now got 5 or 6 maybe in Redcar, I think. I think that's right. And Redcar itself is a small town, seaside town. And then we've got others scattered around the northeast. As you know, the next one along is probably 17 miles away from Redcar, and then the next one up the coast is another 10 miles from that, and then so it's quite interesting to see the different occupancies that we get around this kind of area. Our furthest north is a 9-bed guest house in a place called South Shields, which is just on the edge of the northeast coast and the estuary of the River Tyne, near Newcastle. And it's an old, similar to Llandudno in a way. It's like an old Victorian seaside resort.
Yeah.
But unlike Llandudno, it's very run down in comparison.
Right.
So everyone's heard of Whitley Bay and things like that. It's a poor version of Whitley Bay. But what it does have is, unlike the rest of all our portfolio, it does have a lot of industry around it, like the port of Tyne. And the stuff that we've got down here is all near this free port that we've got, and the government net zero campus and stuff. So we're lucky in that majority of the time when the leisure season drops, there's lots of workers. And so our hotel really suffers. So the problem with our hotel is that it's 23 beds, but all it does is accommodation. And with true C1 hotel stuff, you need more than one income centre for it, because if you don't offer food or breakfasts or there's the coffees or anything like that, and all you've got is accommodation, then you don't get the occupancy that you would if you had another income centre, like a restaurant with it, or somewhere to get a breakfast or something like that. So at the minute we're redesigning, and we've applied for planning to change part of the floor, of the ground floor, part of the floor space, into some sort of a commercial area, whether that be applied for a license. So if we can serve drinks, then someone can run it as have a pub.
You just lease that out then?
Yeah. So I don't want to be responsible for managing that. So that someone would just lease it off us. But then at least it's another thing that people can utilise when they come and stay. And because we don't have that at the moment, in the summer, the Seat and Crew where the hotel is, in the summer, it's bouncing. It's like, it's just bedlam in the summer. But as soon as you get to November, it's like a ghost town. Now, fortunately, we do have maybe 35% of the rooms booked throughout the winter months because of the work in the area. But improving that occupancy in the off season is where the challenge is. So then you look at, what do you do about it? Is it Google ads? Is it Meta ads? Is it leaflet drops? Face to face network marketing, all the stuff that you'd look at, and it is a challenge. But if you've not got anything else to offer other than accommodation, you've got one hand tied behind your back. So that's what we're working on with that at the moment.
Well, interesting, because we've got no service element either.
Right.
We have considered, not on site, but obviously offering some kind of breakfast service, or having some type of business agreement with a local coffee shop or cafe. But we've not had any inquiries about that really, but maybe we would just be ruled out before it gets to that stage of making the inquiry. Maybe that, we don't get to hear about those people and what they want, because they don't get as far as contacting us. But as far as I know, I don't feel like it's made a difference.
No, I think you're looking at it. Your stuff is positioned more like little apartments, isn't it? Whereas ours is positioned as a hotel.
Yeah.
So we have considered there's a couple of wings where so we were in talks with the local film studio. So up near Seaton, there's a new film studio being built, or an extension of the original one. Because since Vera became popular, everybody wants to make films in the Northeast because of the regional accent. So they've extended the film studios in Hartlepool, and we've been in talks with the people that are doing that about putting up their cast and crew. And then they said, well, if you're putting the cast and crew, if we've got a star, the stars won't want a normal hotel room. So they were thinking, well, do we make exclusive the captain's suite apartments for the big stars, and then everybody else can slum it in the normal hotel rooms. But it's just about whether it's worth doing. But when someone goes to a hotel, you quite often expect that you can buy a coffee from somewhere or get a breakfast, don't you? And we don't offer that. So, and we've got a lot of space that's not being used.
Well, for us, there is no space. We did consider leaving one of the ground floor suites as a communal area, lounge, coffee machine, that type thing. But then we kind of just thought having another room and another lot of income nightly is going to be better for profits, really. But and then it becomes a management issue, doesn't it? Because somebody's got to man that then, and people complaining about people being noisy, and all of that stuff, because it's not a massive place. So but just going back to your point about the stars and the theatre and production crews, so it's really funny because what you're describing is almost like what we've got across sites. So the fancy posh ones on the seafront, they attract actors, like famous actors that I'm like, can't tell anyone, but blah 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 off Netflix is it here, and so
you could get if they were to share it on their socials, that would blow your occupancy up.
I know, but it's all about discretion, isn't it? They don't want anyone to know they're there.
Right.
So it's all about, they want to be in, otherwise we'd have people outside, wouldn't we, with, autograph books and things. So we've had a number of really quite famous people staying in the seafront ones. When we had we have the snooker here every year. We've had a few of the top snooker players. And then the Tilston, we have like the backstage production crew or smaller production actors or the musicians, stage crew, that kind of thing. So they're separated.
Yeah.
I don't think they want to be slumming it with the the low lives.
Yeah.
Not that they are, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Is it, I didn't realise that is a film cruise film. Do you get a lot of filming around Llandudno?
There's been a fair amount of filming in Llandudno, but they come. So, for example, the Netflix guy that's we had two actually. They were filming in Snowdonia,
right?
Because we're not far away, and the accommodation in that area. There's lots of lovely little, cottages and idyllic little places around there. But I think that they want something that's a bit more going on, a bit more of around them. So we got two famous actors that were filming, and do you know what? Because I don't watch telly because I haven't got time. I can't even tell you the name. It's a really, really popular Netflix production.
Right.
They've all got funny names. I can't remember.
Right.
But do you watch telly? I don't know. I can't remember.
I watch a bit, but not a massive amount. We've had a Netflix show filmed in one of our houses. It was something about a murder. So it was like one of these real crime investigation documentaries.
Oh yeah.
So there's up in the northeast. There was a lady that was killed by I think it was her ex-boyfriend, and he hid her behind the bath panel. And she was there for a long time. But she was missing. And eventually, and that, I think I'm right in saying, he got tried for it and he got off. And then he went around basically boasting that he'd got off with it. And, well, double jeopardy, you can't get me twice. And they changed the law so that you could be done twice, and then he got put down for it.
Wow.
And they were filming, I don't think it's been released yet, they've been filming interviews and stuff around. So the place that this lady got killed was Norton and Billingham, and we've got a lovely, that house actually, that one, we can't refinance at the minute. That one is where they stayed, and they did a lot of the interviews filmed in that house. So I can't wait for that to come on Netflix, and it'll be all over my socials.
If you're allowed to plug it, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Because the actual filming has been in the house. We've just been an accommodation provider.
Still, I think it's.
We did have one. We did have one thing filmed at one of our suites, and that was for Edward's Sausages. You must know Edward's Sausages. They're Conway.
That's not an OnlyFans thing, is it?
Oh my God! Oh, funny.
I dread to think the amount of OnlyFans content that gets filmed in some of these places.
Looking for Edward's Sausages. Oh dear, yeah. But as far as filming in the property, that's the only one. Yeah, and it was all in the kitchen with a frying pan.
Right. Wow. Brilliant. So what are you up to next then? So you've got that project done. Are you looking to do something else?
Nothing in the pipeline at all. Thinking some flips to build up the pot, but to try and make a flip stack with the increase in stamp duty and capital gains reductions, and it's just really difficult. So whether we can make some assisted sales work, save on those elements, possibly. When we were doing, before we started on the apart hotel, we were actually looking to move to commercial properties or mixed use, and potentially buying a business or something like asset management and all of that, and that's what you're doing. So that's why I've been enjoying watching your growth and thinking, how do I do this now? Because buying a business is not simple, and you've really got to understand how you're going to manage that asset. Confident that you can make it work. So more although it's more of a paper exercise. It's a lot of paperwork, isn't it, to sort of understand where your lending's coming from, what how you staff in the business and all of it.
Yeah.
And then it sounds really sexy, when you see the headlines, but doing it's not quick, is it?
It's far from quick. It's are you in prosperity nowadays?
Yes.
Yeah. So are you going to the mastermind?
You're speaking, aren't you?
I'm doing the mastermind on buying businesses.
Is that the 12th?
It is the end of June. It is I'll tell you exactly when it is, 27th of June. Friday the 27th.
I haven't booked a ticket, but I'd love to.
Yeah. So
you're doing all about that?
Yeah, full day. It's going to be quite challenging to fit everything that I need to fit in. Because it's such an in-depth process from finding a business to then finding the right business to then having the credibility that the owner will want to give his life works. And it's not that they want to give their life work to somebody so they can disappear. It's that they want to look after the people that are in that business.
Yeah.
So the more business owners I speak to, the more I realise that most of them aren't motivated. By the time they come to exit, most of them aren't motivated by money, because let's face it, the vast majority of businesses that normal, in inverted commas, people can buy are very, for the owner, they've made it a profitable job. I dare say, with the experience that they've got, by the time they come to exit, they would probably get paid more from working for a big company than they do running that business.
Yeah.
But they run that business and they persist with it, and the cash flow challenges and the economic headwinds and all the rest of it, they persist with it because everybody in that business they've known for years. They've brought them on as apprentices. They've seen them have the 3 kids. They've helped them buy the first house. They've been to the wedding. You know, sometimes they've seen them have relatives that have passed away, and they really care for the people that are in it. And then they need to exit, which is when the liquidity event happens. So, you know, one of the big ways to get money out of owning a business, one of the reasons that people do it is because eventually, if they do sell it, that's where they make their money, not necessarily throughout the years that they've owned it. But by the time they've got to that point, they're settled in life anyway, usually. Usually they've got their affairs in order because by being a business owner, they tend to be quite pragmatic people. But they really care about Julie in accounts and Brian that runs the operations, you know, and they want to make sure that those people will still be able to pay their mortgage in another 3 years once they've sold it to somebody.
Yeah.
And coming across as the right person is really important.
More important, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's that's a lot of it, and then it's how do you fund it? What's it worth? You know, and all the stuff that goes with it, and then it's how do you manage it? Who are the people that are in the business? What are their strengths and weaknesses? When you take over a business, you've got a big sign over your head saying "I can fire you," and that's just what people see when you walk in. And ultimately, I go to great lengths to explain to the people when we buy a business that the reason we bought the business is because of where it's at, and it's where it's at because of you.
Yeah.
So you aren't going anywhere. So your jobs are absolutely safe, you know. But people don't think like that. People are always get very twitchy when there's a new ownership.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's understandable. I think if I was on the other side of it, I would be as well.
Yeah. The whole thing is fascinating, and then you get the dirty tricks that get played and the wasted costs. I mean, we bought 3 in the last year.
No.
Yeah, and I must have had another 4 maybe that should have completed that got to heads. So heads of terms is a common thing in property. When you're going to buy a property, you come up with your heads of terms. This is what we're going to do. And in business, it's like the first major milestone. When you get to heads of terms, it's this is what I will pay. This is how I will pay it. This is the time frame that we'll complete the deal in. And this is your exclusivity period. So you can't sell it to somebody else whilst we're completing. And we got to heads several times and never got to completion. And when you get to heads, then you start racking up your legal fees. So accountancy due diligence, legal due diligence, HR due diligence, and everybody wants paying to do this work.
Before you've
even started. And then if something comes up in the due diligence, or we had one guy who just disappeared off the face of the earth, couldn't contact him at all. It was an MOT, a HGV MOT and service station. It was a big deal, relatively big. He was happy with everything. I got the finance approved, got the legal due diligence done, got everything done, and he disappeared off the face of the earth. And then he came back 3 months later and said, "Oh, sorry, I've been away." No. As it happens, I'm now out of my exclusivity period. And would you believe it? This morning, I've had an offer from a national company, so I'm going to go with them. So, you know, nobody sticks to their word. It's the stories I could tell you, the stuff that goes on, and then it's only when you actually get running the place that you really get a true picture. You can do all the paper exercises that you want, But it's only when you're in it that you truly realize how something works, and you'd be amazed. You would be absolutely amazed. And I speak to a good pal of mine. You know John Polston Jones.
Oh yeah. He's got places down the road from me here.
Yeah, I speak to John a lot, and because he's done a similar thing. But he's bought a company called Paxo, and he's currently sorting out quite a lot of outdated processes and procedures and stuff in that business, same as we are in ours. Yeah. And you will find, if you do start looking into this stuff, there are businesses out there that turn 6, 7, 8 million quid a year, make hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds in profit. And the owners haven't really got the foggiest idea what they've been doing. They've just hit on something that's taken off. Everything's done on bits of paper. Everything's in someone's head.
Oh my God.
You know, and like the whole thing is like, we've just uncovered something in one of our businesses this last week that we're not even billing for half the work that the lads are doing. Like, so it's only because we've brought a new person in to replace an outgoing managing director, who we've got a new kind of leader in who's been who grew a massive business. So we're kind of very excited to have her on board, and she's looking through the systems and processes, and she's like, "We're not even billing for half the stuff." But this is it. This is business ownership.
I mean, that's great news now. But how far back can you go with that? And then
exactly.
I just kind of have this feeling of, I'm feeling quite indignant now that company who haven't been billed haven't said anything.
Yeah, well, they've not said anything. And then when you come to say something to them, which will be the next challenge, well, no, they used to do that for free. So, that'll be the next thing.
Right, okay.
So, and this is the trouble. This is stuff that they don't teach you on the courses that I will be talking about on the Mastermind Day, is that quite often when you buy a business, so there's most people, if you were to speak to most people in the street and tell them to go and find a business to look at, they would want to buy a business that was in their comfort zone. So they would probably look at something that was turning between 200,000 and 600,000 pounds, that made anything from 40 grand to 100 grand a year, because that feels comfortable to them. Manageable, but that is absolutely the worst business to buy, because there's not enough money in that business to have any sort of management team in it. There's not enough money to have a financial controller or a marketing department or anything at all. So to grow it is going to be really tough. So it's the same hassle and heartache to try and find one to buy that it is to buy something bigger. Yeah. So everybody should be looking at buying. So my checklist is, it's got to turn over nearly £1 million there or thereabouts. It's got to have middle management in place already. So it's got to be profitable, and the owner has got to be willing to have some sort of deferred payment structure.
Yeah.
So that is my minimum before I'll look at anything.
Yeah.
But what you find is that, especially with the smaller businesses, that you would just be buying a job with the smaller businesses, because if the owner disappears,
over from the owner,
yeah, and a lot of the customers, even in the size businesses I'm suggesting people should be looking at, a lot of those customers will be the owner's friends. They'll have had relationships with them for a long time. So there's a big ownership reliance factor that you need to be wary of, because if the owner disappears and half of your turnover disappears with it, that's a challenge. So there's all sorts of risks that you need to consider when buying a business. And I don't know how I got on to talking about businesses there, but
because that's what I was thinking of doing, and then realised that actually this is quite complex and not something you should be jumping into without full understanding. I mean, I was speaking with Guy Bartlett and Brian for their Business Buyers Club for a while. I was in that group and just got completely overwhelmed with it, because the the lengths you have to go to when you're looking at those accounts. Obviously, you can employ a forensic accountant to go and do that for you, but you need to have a good understanding yourself anyway. So that was a bit like, oh God, and they advise the same, you're looking for, well, I think they say large, I think they say like multi-million,
Right.
because of, like, for all the reasons you've said. So, and then it's, where do you find these businesses? Do you go direct to vendor or on business websites or?
Yeah, I would never ever use a broker. I wasted 18 months of my life going through business websites and brokers.
They're just not motivated, are they? That's what I'm hearing. They're just,
Yeah, well, that's so. If you've been in any M&A groups, you probably know the broker business model. But so for those people that listening that don't know, most people have never sold a business before. Everybody talks about buying or starting a business. Nobody even thinks about buying, but the vast majority of people start a business, never sell it, get to the end and think, right, now what? And is it worth anything to anybody and all the rest of it? And when they do decide, well, actually, yeah, it might be open to something that someone would have some value in. Well, how do I sell it? Well, I've sold a house before and I did that through an estate agent. So maybe there's a business agent. So they go and they find these business agents or brokers. And the business broker, so an estate agent will usually have a fixed fee and maybe a commission for selling it. And so they're motivated to sell it for you. Whereas a business broker, the vast majority, there are one or two that don't do this, but the vast majority are incentivized to get people signed up. So they'll go out and they'll say, okay, Mrs. Miller, what is it that your business does? Oh, you make shoelaces. Wonderful. Absolutely phenomenal. We've got a big long list of people wanting shoelace manufacturing businesses. What kind of profits have you made? Oh, you've made a £50,000 loss every year for the last 5 years, have you? Well, don't you worry. We are selling these every single day. We'll easily get you £1 million for this business in your pocket. Yeah. Not a problem at all. All you need to do is sign up here. It's just a £35,000 signing up fee, and then we'll get you sold. So, £1 million for my loss-making business. Unbelievable. So they sign up to the 35 grand listing fee. The guy toddles off back to the office, gives it to the one person at the back office who's responsible for listing the 100 salesmen's businesses that have been out generating leads, and they stick it on a website and they forget all about it.
Yeah,
and
because they've had their fix, haven't they?
They've had the fee, and it's a great business model for them. Depending on the literature you read, between 1.5 and 3.5% of businesses that are with brokers sell. That's it. Because they overinflate the price, they completely ruin the expectations of the business owner, and they tie them in as well. So I would never. A couple of the ones I got that got to heads of terms that fell over were with brokers, and at least one of them was because the broker decided that they didn't like the terms, even though the business owner agreed to them.
Wow.
And persuaded them against selling. And I know that both of those are still for sale 2 years later.
Wow.
So yeah, I'd never use a broker. I typically go direct to vendor with various direct to vendor campaigns. And once you've done one, the word gets out that you transact, and it's a bit like property.
Yeah.
So once you've done one of the businesses we've bought, for example, it was a sale that fell through. And the solicitor dealing with that sale said, well, I've worked with Andrew and Philip, my business partner, and I know that if they say they'll do it, they'll do it. Would you want me to introduce you? So because we'd transacted, the guy said, yeah, fine. We looked at it. We said we'd do it. Despite the shenanigans from the previous owner, we still completed because we said we would. And so that's how we bought that one. So that was just that got offered to us because of integrity and doing what you say.
Yeah. So do you do deferred payments on all of them then? Do you agree a structure over so many years.
Yeah, absolutely. I would not buy a business without a deferred consideration element.
Yeah.
You speak to a solicitor acting for a seller, and the solicitor will say that you want all the money up front because, reduce the seller's risk. You speak to somebody buying and they want all the money deferred to reduce the risk. So it's about negotiating how, and that's all about the intricacies of how you see the risk. But ultimately, as I've experienced, there are any number of skeletons that come out of closets once you've bought a business. And if the owner has got his money up front and disappears off the face of the earth, you are never getting any of it back when these skeletons come out of the closet. So you have to have deferred consideration in place.
Yeah.
It just mitigates everybody's risk.
Really inspiring that you've done that.
And the other thing about deferred consideration is that it incentivizes the seller to have the business's best interests at heart after the acquisition, because he needs that business to perform so that he gets the rest of his money. Yeah. I mean, we'll take the personal guarantee element out of it, because all these business sellers all these business courses tell you that you shouldn't personally guarantee stuff, but you can't buy anything these days without personally guaranteeing something. So that's just, anybody that says you don't have any risk is full of shit. But it's about negotiating with the seller what is a reasonable amount that you can defer. And that comes down to your risk tolerance and how confident you are in what you're buying. But if you're buying something, you shouldn't just be buying it for the sake of buying it. You should be buying it because you can see where it can go, and you've got a plan for that, or it folds into what you're already doing. Yeah. And you've got business for it, Yeah. So
bolt-ons and things like that.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. It's the whole thing's fascinating. It's incredibly challenging, but incredibly rewarding. Or it can be.
Just probably have to put my big girl pants on and get back to it.
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's a bit like having a lottery ticket to a very small numbered lottery. So we've got a security. One of our businesses is security, and it does. We do very bespoke CCTV and fire and access, like security fobs to get in and out of places, and fire suppression. We do very bespoke stuff to blue chip companies in challenging environments. So, for example, one of our clients is Del Monte.
Oh.
So, it's a blue chip company. Another client is one of the biggest chicken producing companies in Europe, based down in Norwich. Now, these people sometimes tender for contracts, and the contract that the value of the installation for the security and stuff like that might be worth hundreds of thousands of pounds in profit to your business. Now, you've got no way of ever getting that or even being involved in it unless you've got a business that can provide that service. So there might be, 50 security businesses in East Anglia. There might be 10 that could fulfill that contract. So yes, you've got competition, but the value is potentially massive. And by owning that business that's profitable already, because we've done our due diligence, it gives us this lottery ticket that if we put our name into that lottery, we might get that contract and therefore that money. And that is one of the most powerful things about owning a business that you can't get in property.
No.
So we've got one job on a minute. I can't tell you what it is, but it's super kind of technical for a household name, worldwide household name that we're looking to do a job for. And it could be worth anything from 750 grand to a couple of million net profit that we're in for.
Lovely.
And we haven't got it, but we're in for it.
Yeah.
And you can't get that with your HMO. Do you know what I mean?
No,
You just can't do it.
Yeah, exactly. There's ceilings and limits, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly.
So are you going to carry on buying more businesses? Is that your plan going forward, or mixture of that and property?
Yeah. I mean, God, the stuff that we're doing in property, it's weird. I'm very conscious of what I say, because it's still a bit imposter syndrome to say that we're doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've bought 7. We've bought 7 in Wales so far this year, and we've just agreed another 4
businesses or
properties.
Properties.
Just agreed another 4, including a couple of commercial conversions in South Wales in heritage areas.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll let you off. Yeah.
And then that's just the property side of stuff, and along with all the refurbs that we've got going on at any one time. So we're doing a lot of property.
So you're doing commercial to resi?
Commercial to resi.
Yeah.
Do you know Philip Jordan?
Yes. Well, I know. I don't think we've spoken.
Yeah. So
we've got lots of mutual friends.
Yeah. So Philip is my business partner in pretty much everything over the last couple of years. So he's very focused on the property stuff, and so that's why it's all in Wales at the minute, because he's well known to the agents and stuff and the auctioneers down there. And my focus is very much on leading these businesses to where we need to get them.
Yeah.
So we're doing a lot of stuff in parallel. He's heavily involved in the businesses, don't get me wrong, and I'm involved in the properties too. But we have our designated kind of heads, if you know what I mean. My head's on the businesses, and his head's more on the property stuff. So yeah, continue to do a lot of property flips, assisted sales, social housing. We're doing quite a bit of refurb to social housing to then sell on a lease option or a yield basis to investors, because they like the social housing income.
Yeah.
So we've got quite a bit of that going on. And then in terms of the businesses, we've got 3 main sectors: hospitality, security, and health. So we've got a physiotherapy company in Warwickshire. And the idea is that each one's growing, but you grow through increasing your customer base, first thing, but you also grow through acquisition and bolt-on.
Yeah.
So each group will get bolted on. So at the minute with the security business, this big job that we're talking about, there's a lot of work that involves something called fire suppression, which is if you've got big HMOs or massive commercial buildings, if there's a fire detected, they'll put different types of mist down or different types of powder or all sorts of fancy suppression stuff.
Yeah.
And in order to deliver this, if it goes the way it could be going, it would be handy for us to own a company that just did fire suppression. So we've got offers in currently on one business that does that, and we're looking at another one. So then you grow through acquisition. So the healthcare business will be doing the same as well.
How do you fit it all in?
Well, I don't know. I'm no longer a doctor.
I know that. But my God, is your head not like
sometimes? Some days it's really tough.
Yeah,
I suppose
compartmentalize all of those different elements.
Yeah, you've got to. And there's a lot of overwhelm sometimes. If something goes wrong, what I've noticed is when something goes wrong, it's not just like one company that's got an issue. The other companies will have an issue on the same bloody day, and then it gets really stressful. But it helps having Philip. And I tell you what does help. Each business has got managers in.
Yeah.
So the hotel's got a manager, physiotherapy company, we've got a manager. We've now got a head of sports medicine in that company as well. So there's 2 managers effectively in that. And then the security company, we've got a new manager in there that's sorting that out. And we've promoted someone. So there's 2 managers in that company as well. So you can delegate stuff. And then it becomes about I asked you to do this. What's the update? If it's been done, phenomenal. If it hasn't been done, why hasn't it been done? What help do you need?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and you've just got to keep an eye on stuff. And I do find, and I have noticed, if you concentrate on one thing for too long, the other thing will have slowed down. So there's definitely, and we'll get to the point at some quite soon, I think, probably with the next acquisition, where we will need one person to replace me, so that they can do, and then I just manage that one person, and then my skills are more about finding the right business to bolt on, or finding the right deal to get into.
So what's the ultimate goal then? To sell all these businesses once you've asset managed them up? When do you?
When's enough?
Yeah.
Well, what?
It's
when's
because we
enough
just keep
for
on
you?
going, don't we?
Yeah. It's not about that.
Yeah.
It's about growing as a person. Genuinely, it's not about. There's not really, because if I sold it, if I got to a point where I could sell everything and get a big payday, what would I do?
What would you do? I know.
What would I do? The thing that makes me get out of bed is chatting to people like you, finding businesses, getting into structuring deals, finding out, how you can help someone but still win yourself, and making a relationship like that, and then furthering. And I actually, like I said to somebody the other week, I said, I'm really worried at the moment because I feel really comfortable with what's going on, and that frightens me. So I always have to make sure that I've got a challenge, that I've got something that makes the pit of my stomach turn over when I think about it. Because if I haven't got that, then I know I'm not growing.
Right. Okay.
And that's what's driving me. I would. So we have nominal goals. Don't get me wrong. So the security business, for example, the nominal goal for that is that in 3 to 5 years, we would be able to sell it for 8 figures should we want to. So that's the nominal goal for that. I don't foresee that I will ever sell it. One day I might have a serious illness and need to, but the idea is that you get it into a position where you could sell it for big money if you wanted to, but by the time it's in that position, it should be making you enough money that the sale wouldn't change your life, if you see what I mean. So I have nominal goals, but the goal is just to keep growing.
Keep on acquiring. Wow.
Yeah, I'm absolutely petrified of getting to the end of my life and not thinking that I've rinsed every last bit of whatever I've got.
Yeah.
Because that would be a wasted life.
Yeah. Oh. Well, that's a massive inspiration to me.
Is it? I'm stupid.
To see how quickly, you've grown from being able to go full time, leave your career, and grow so rapidly in that time, because it's not many years. When did you leave?
I only left last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just over a year that I've left.
In that time, you've grown tenfold, haven't you?
Yeah.
That's an inspiration to me, because I'm like, wow. It just makes it more real, doesn't it?
It does, but again, you're in a great position that you've got credibility, you've got a track record, and this whole boulder thing that they talk about, it slowly builds momentum. It's absolutely true. And unless you're doing what you're doing, you'll never get the opportunity. And at some point, an opportunity will come up. You'll follow it. You'll go along the journey of that opportunity, and it will turn into something that you never expected. And we bought a portfolio last year of, I think it was 30 houses in it. And that came from somebody that I knew of, but I didn't know, following me for years on social media without ever clicking the follow button.
I know, they're the best, aren't they?
Yeah.
You bump into them in the street and they say, "Oh, I like what you're doing."
Yeah. And he had a problem. He needed a solution to it. Can we figure it out? And it was about this portfolio. So we took this portfolio from him. And prior to that, I'd never even knew that he was watching.
Yeah.
So it's you keep doing what you're doing, document your journey, keep building your track record, and at some point, somebody's going to be in a position where they'll think of you. And so when I think about decision making, I very rarely say yes or no to anything. I go, okay, well, let's follow this process. So somebody will come with an opportunity, like buying a business. We'll go along the path. We won't say yes or no to it. We'll see how it develops. And as you get further down the journey towards the end, it will become apparent whether it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. Mm-hmm. So I never say yes or no. It's always a process of, well, yeah, we'll explore it and we'll keep exploring it until such time as it's clear. Yeah. And I think quite a lot of people feel overwhelmed or intimidated by something. And they'll say, no, can't do that. Or yes, it's a small deal, they'll do that. But no, I can't do that. It's far too big or far too scary.
Yeah.
But never say that. Just say, okay, well, let's explore it and just keep going, because time is a funny thing. Once you start concentrating on something and time passes, solutions become apparent.
Yeah.
And then it makes it happen. So it's just something I've learned that's how I make my decisions, and something that's I've developed over the last few years.
Yeah. Oh, wow. What an inspiration.
Give off it.
Imposter syndrome is still real.
Very much so. Every day.
Yeah. It's never goes away, I don't think.
No. So, but for you, find out where you want to go. Find out what you want out of your life, and then make it happen. It's out there if you want it.
Yeah. Thanks for the kick up the arse.
You're very welcome. Did you have any other questions for me? Because you said you wanted to pick my brains.
Oh, I could grill you for hours, but no, I've taken enough of your time. I'm all psyched up now, ready to go out looking for things.
Well, go on then. Right. So for those people that are still with us and would like to get in touch with Victoria with life-changing opportunities, where can they find you?
Oh, right. Okay. So I'm an old folk, so I'm on Facebook more than anywhere else. So Victoria Miller on Facebook, or the business is Arendalux Exclusive Holiday Homes. Do have a presence on Instagram for if you want to book somewhere to stay in Llandudno.
Highly recommended, by the way. They are phenomenal.
Thank you. So we're Arendalux on Instagram. You'll see the website on there as well.
Wonderful. Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic catching up with you.
And you too.
All right. You take care.
See ya.